Hi everyone. In this video, I'm just going to very briefly walk you through our first task in Excel. Okay, so here I have our Excel data set. So this presents our data in rows and columns here in Excel. Typically what you'll see is that this first row has the variable names. I just deleted those out just to make this a little bit easier for when you're using these formulas. But typically what you would see is like some variable name here. Eyewear, etc., answer, or accuracy, some variable name in the first row for the data. But ours just jumps right into presenting our data. And if you'll notice, each of these variables, so we have two variables in our two columns, and in the rows is the response for each participant on that particular variable. So we have two variables. We can also look at the nature of our responses, be able to quickly realize that these are categorical or nominal variables. So we don't have interval or ratio level data here, but instead we have nominal data. So we have groups of people. So some people are indicating that they fall into the group or category of glasses. Some people are indicating that they would fall into the group or category for that eyewear variable of no glasses. And so we will use this data to construct frequency tables. And so if you'll notice in the data set that I posted on Canvas, you already have this table here. Now keep in mind that this isn't APA formatted, but you absolutely could create an APA formatted table within Excel or within Word and just copy and paste your values over into Word, whatever may be convenient. But for our purposes right now, we're just kind of focused on learning how to use these formulas and functions in Excel, so don't worry about the formatting of the table. I just put this here so that you could paste in your answers or create your formulas here in the table. So for your quiz, you will fill in our table for our eyewear variable, glasses versus no glasses. And what I will do is kind of walk through a short demonstration of how you would do that, but using our other variable. So rather than our eyewear, glasses versus not, I am going to say, okay, for our other variable of accuracy, we have the responses of incorrect versus correct responses, and so we'll do this one. If you notice, we also have this row of our table that is total number of participants or total in. And so with your data, you can quickly kind of look and see, okay, if I scroll all the way down, if each of these rows represents a participant, I have 253 rows, so I have 253 total participants. Now keep in mind that if you have one of those data sets where the first row is a variable name, you would need to take that into account. So if that were the case, then I would need to say, well, actually I have a total number of participants that is equal to 252, because that first row was my variable names, not a participant or participant data. All right, so for us, our total number of participants is 253, and I wanted to know out of those 253, how many of them had an incorrect response versus how many of them had a correct response. So what is my frequency of incorrect responses? What is my frequency of correct responses? And I could go through and count. I could also, and we'll talk a little bit later about rearranging or sorting the data set or filtering the data set. So those are other techniques. But for right now, what I want you guys to do is to use the count if formula. So if you notice up here, you have several different things that you can do. One is that you can click on formulas and you can kind of explore different formulas that you can use. With each formula, it's going to start out with an equal sign, and you'll also notice that in many instances, Excel, once you start typing, will try to guess what formula it is that you want to use and kind of help you out in completing that formula. So we're going to delete out the question mark, and here type equals, and since we're looking at frequency, really all that is counts. So if we went through the data and counted how many had an incorrect response. So I'm going to tell Excel to do that counting automatically for me. And so I'm going to say count if as my function. And see here that gives you a little bit of information. It says it's going to count the number of cells within a range that meet a given criteria. So that's what the formula is going to do. So I want to use that. And then I'm going to type in an open parentheses. And I'm going to tell it what my data is, what data to go through and count, and then I'm going to tell it exactly what to count. So this first, the range is saying, okay, where is my data? So I'm going to select what data I want it to use, which is all of these in my B column or my variable 2 column. So I'm saying, okay, use all of that. And then I'm going to type in a comma, and I'm going to tell it what to count. And you need to put this in quotation marks. So I'm going to tell it to count all the times that it sees in this variable incorrect. And I'm going to put my closing quotation marks, and I'm going to close my parentheses to say, okay, I'm done with my formula. And then all I have to do is press enter, and it counts it for me. And it comes back that there are 91 incorrect responses. And then if I want to get the correct responses, one, I could take 253 minus 91. So there's a lot of different ways I could do this. But I'm going to do my count if again, and again, select my data and say I want it to use the B column. And this time I want it to count every time the value is correct in this column. And I close my quotation marks, and I close my parentheses, and I click enter, and I have 161. So I have 91 people who got it incorrect, 161 who got it correct. And so you can do the same thing really quickly just with our column A, and asking it to count rather than incorrect glasses, and rather than correct, no glasses for this second row of the column. And then your total participants should be the same as mine. All right, so we'll have another video in which we look kind of more at descriptive statistics that involve variables that have different levels of measurement. So with frequency, typically we see frequency reported for nominal level data. You may see very often if you read research reports or scientific articles, they use descriptive statistics to describe the nature of the sample. And so you may see frequencies, for instance, of the total number of participants in the sample, or the total N, and frequencies of, for instance, the number of males, the number of females in the sample. Or you may see the number or the percentage of the participants that fall into groups based on nationality, race, ethnicity, etc. All right, but next time I'll talk about descriptive statistics that we use for other levels of measurement and how we can calculate those descriptive statistics in Excel.